Why should I care about ID fraud? There were 148,000 victims of identity theft and fraud in the UK last year. And it's a crime that's on the rise. Up by 57% on the previous year, identity fraud is a threat to us all. Yet it's a threat that most of us know precious little about. In today's connected world, your identity has become a more complex and valuable thing. It's no longer simply a question of who you are. Your identity is made up of hundreds of pieces of information. These valuable fragments of our identity are scattered far and wide, making it harder and harder to keep them out of the hands of criminals. Those intent on identity fraud employ a growing number of techniques and tactics to obtain your details. Some are high-tech, some not so. But any one of us could be targeted by an identity fraudster before we even realize we are vulnerable to attack. You don't have to be rich to have an identity worth stealing. Your identity is your most valuable possession, no matter who you are or what you own. A single identity could be worth hundreds of thousands of pounds, because once it has been stolen, the thief can apply for credit cards, loans, mobile phone accounts, and even mortgages using your name. They can take the money, spend it on whatever extravagances they like, and leave you with the nightmarish task of clearing their debts and your name. Identity fraud costs time as well as money. It could take 6 months to plead your innocence and restore your true credit history. But until you do, that debt will cast a shadow over your life and your finances. If you're a victim of identity fraud, it's possible to put things right. But protect your identity and you won't have to. What do I do if I'm a victim of identity fraud? When you're a victim of identity fraud, you might not realize someone is stealing from you until letters and bills arrive at your door, or unexpected transactions appear on your bank statement. It may be tempting to ignore it, but it pays to act fast. It can take as long as 6 months to set the record straight, and it can be a stressful process. But you're not alone, and you're not at fault. If you think someone could be making purchases with counterfeit cards or checks, or is using your online bank account, alert your bank immediately. If they're liable, they will reimburse you for any money that's been taken. But your bank is not liable to cover the cost of fraud that happens in your name, but outside your bank account. This includes applications for mortgages, loans and benefits, and items bought on hire purchase. For the full picture, request a copy of your credit report from a credit reference agency. It'll show you what credit accounts have been set up in your name, as well as the details of any searches carried out by lenders and financial service providers. If fraudulent applications have been made or fraudulent accounts have been opened, ask the credit reference agency to contact lenders on your behalf to restore your credit history. Meanwhile, remember, keep a note of all correspondence relating to your case. Identity fraud can happen to anyone, and everyone can beat it. How can I protect myself against identity fraud? If you live, work, shop, and socialize in the modern world, it's impossible to keep your personal data to yourself. But that doesn't mean you can't protect it. Identity fraudsters prefer an easy target, and it doesn't take much to put your identity out of harm's way. The latest figures show that almost 9 out of 10 identity thefts are made possible by the internet. So build your defenses online. Use complex passwords to protect your devices and accounts. Just take 3 random words and throw in a few symbols, numbers or capital letters. Update your software when prompted by your device and install the best free antivirus programs. Do not use public Wi-Fi when banking online or entering sensitive information. And when shopping online, make sure the website is secure and displays the golden padlock. Tighten the privacy settings on your social media accounts, and remember that a careless post could compromise your security. Offline, there's more work to be done. Shred or store in a safe place any documents carrying personal information. Regularly check your credit report and monitor your bank and credit card statements for suspicious activity. And never respond to unsolicited emails or phone calls, asking for your passwords, PINs, or personal information. It takes a little more than luck to avoid ID fraud, but it's a small price to pay for peace of mind.